Greetings, everyone. This is Rock and Roll Spot coming at you with my event recap for Dark Crisis, which soon will take on the name Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths. Anyway, kicking things off, we've got Dark Crisis number 2. Surprisingly, Dark Crisis is not as big, again, I guess, from crossover as Dark Knight's Death Metal was. So, anyway, where we left off in Dark Crisis number 1, the Deathstroke, well, the Secret Society of Supervillains under the leadership of Deathstroke attacked Titan's Tower. Among things that happened were, well, Beast Boy getting shot, potentially in the face. So, most of issue 2 is pretty much just a fight between Nightwing and Deathstroke. The basic idea is that Deathstroke pretty much intends to kill the any if Nightwing won't fight him, then he'll just keep killing Titans. It's a long fight, and to be fair, actually, getting a quick win. But initially, Deathstroke, after getting kind of somewhat beaten by Nightwing, says, okay, fine, then who am I going to fight after? Alright, so Nightwing wins the first round. Who do I fight next, then? But Nightwing says, no, no, no. Kill me, you'll let everyone else... If it means that everyone else is let go, fine. You and me. To the death. But Superman shows up and saves Nightwing. And so... But it turns out that Deathstroke had a plan for that. Hank Henshaw, the cyborg Superman. And so John and Hank fight one another while Slade and Dick fight each other as well. Though it seems that Pariah's hold on Slade is slipping. But Pariah regains his hold by explaining that the superheroes are not to be killed because he needs them. Apparently, Slade's mission is to sow chaos and create a crisis. Bring Pariah's Dark Army to him. But as the Secret Society leaves, Deathstroke states that it's just the beginning, gets a lot harder from here. Tells Nightwing to spread the word. The legacy is dead, and it's open season on superheroes. Cyborg Victor Stone steps in and helps John Kent deal with Hank Henshaw. Once things seem to be over, the battle seems to be over, though, Black Adam shows up and tells John Kent that he's not ready to lead the Justice League, adding that he was wrong about Nightwing as well. While Deathstroke may have led the attack, the blame for the tragedy falls at Dick's feet. Black Adam didn't show up to help because Slade's society is didn't just attack the Titan's Tower, but various other places, including Kahndaq. And so Black Adam states that he will lead the new Justice League, and he will turn the remaining heroes into the protectors that they should have always been. In space, Kyle Rayner is breaking out of a prison ship, gets to the hangar bay. Turns out that some friends were there to break him out already. Well, a friend and an ally that he's now meeting for the first time. The friend being Hal Jordan, the new ally being Joe Mullion, the newest member of the Green Lantern Corps. But Hal fills in Kyle what's happened, and gives Kyle a ring. As Hal's got a bunch of other Green Lanterns with him. I honestly can't. I know that you've got all the Earth Lanterns: Jessica Cruz, Simon Baz, Guy Gardner, Joe Mullion, Hal, of course. Not John Stewart, as he was killed in Justice League 75. Some of the others include President includes Salak, Aricia, Kilowog, and like I said, just various others that I can't off the top of my head name. I used to have a much better knowledge of Green Lantern Corps, but when you're away from a book for so long that you just don't know. It's kind of like, where do you even start? But anyway, that is where Dark Crisis #2 ends. I'm glad that Kyle's being brought back into the fold. He's always been a favorite of mine within the Lanterns. Next up, we've got Dark Crisis Young Justice #2. Where we left off here, Wonder Girl seemingly noticed the disappearance of Superboy, Connor Kent, Robin, Tim Drake, and Impulse, Bart Allen, after the funeral for the Justice League. They apparently ended up seemingly back in the past, the beginnings of Young Justice. And Cassie showed up to help them against the Mighty Endowed. The Connor, Cassie, Tim, and Impulse managed to take down the Mighty Endowed, and are there and go off on the Super Cycle. Well, first they go off to Metropolis to deal with Tora, but something seems off. Meanwhile, actual Cassie has gone to the boarding school that Arrowette goes to, wanting Arrowette's help. She eventually talks her into it. Meanwhile, Tim, Bart, and Connor are taken to the Watchtower on the moon, and Superman passes on the mantle of Superman to Connor. Wally passes on the mantle of the Flash to Bart. And Batman passes on the mantle of Batman to Robin. But they all say that it feels a little weird. However, Connor kind of points out that, maybe things aren't so bad. However, some things have popped up that kind of make at least Bart and Tim think maybe this isn't what it's supposed to be. namely, Batman stating that Tim's just going through a phase currently when it comes to his sexuality. Surprisingly, the fact that it is kind of surprising that Tim doesn't explain that to Connor, but the trio all point out that when their mentors were offering the mantles to them, Cassie was with them each time. It was all happening, but it was all occurring at the same time. Cassie can't be in three places at once. On Earth Zero, Cassie is trying to find Red Tornado, ends up finding Red Volcano instead. But Red Tornado shows up, saves the day, and is quite happy. And is happy to help Young Justice. He's missed them after all, though he does hug Garrett a little tightly. While Superboy, Impulse, and Robin just think over what's happened, the super cycle hits a rock, and then the ground opens up and zombies. So they fly off to Happy Harbor. When they arrive at the Young Justice cave, they find Cassie has apparently been beaten by, or has run into three villains and lost to them. The three villains call themselves the Trinity of Trauma. And who are these three? Deathstroke, who shot Bart in the kneecap with a shotgun. Lex Luthor, who briefly used Connor as a weapon during in the lead up to Infinite Crisis, and Captain Boomerang, Digger Harkness, who killed Tim Drake's father during Identity Crisis. And that is where the issue ends. I especially like the whole Trinity of Trauma. Next up, we got 2 issues of The Flash. So Flash 783 was supposed to, if it did release in June, I missed it when it came out, but I get the shop I go to got additional copies in the first week of July. So yeah. So the arc here, the tie-in arc with the Flash is the search for Barry Allen. In 783, Wally is trying to figure out how to, or has been going over with Mr. Terrific how to potentially find Barry. The other speedsters, Max Mercury, Jesse Quick, Jay Garrick, and Wallace West are all there. But they've got dimension hopping bracelets, and Wally's kids take one of them and rush off into one of the portals. And so the speedsters go out looking for Barry, and 2 looking for the kids. Mr. Terrific notes that something's happened with Linda, and that she apparently has powers. So Jay and Irie end up on a rather dark version of Earth, where seeming where Central City is Gotham. Max and Jesse end up in a post-apocalyptic wasteland where Barry Allen is driving a hot rod while being chased by bikers and people in rigs. Very Mad Max-esque. But Barry is still in the perfect world that Pariah left him in during Infinite Frontier. And him and that reality's Wally deal with Captain Cold. And as Wallace and Wally show up to see what's going on. Which brings us, obviously, to Flash 784. First off, we've got Mad Max Barry being saved by Jesse and Max. Then apparently the warlord he's running from is Terramungus. Meanwhile, Night Flash has found Jay and Irie, but they manage to escape. However, they've dropped the bracelet. But someone calls them over. Meanwhile, Wallace and Wally have to deal with, well, saving Barry. However, when Wally approaches Barry, Barry sees his Zoom, and he attacks. Wally tries to snap him out of it, but nothing seems to be working. Meanwhile, Wallace is headed to Wally's. Wally sees him, and so he's in a different costume. But Wallace is brought in and is seemingly having dinner with the Flash family as the guest of honor. That is where the issue ends. We should be I think Dark Crisis number 3 comes out this week, and same with I think also the Young Justice number 3. I think Flash probably comes out next week or the week after. But yeah, that is going to do it for now. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, Patreon, and PayPal can be found in the description box down below. This is Rock and Roll Spock signing off saying, live long and rock hard.